Hi there and welcome to Vlogmas Day 3. It's December 3rd, or at least it should be if it's the third day of Vlogmas. So let's see, what have I been up to today? So I haven't done a lot of crafting really today, mainly because I've been out doing other things. Our hay saga continued from yesterday. After we finally got some of the junky stuff moved, I immediately was looking for new hay. So I went up early this morning and checked out a guy with some hay that I found on Facebook Marketplace, which you can find all sorts of really cool stuff on there. I found a lot of knitting machines that way, actually. So, check out Facebook Marketplace. It's kind of cool. So I found a guy and I went up and looked at it, and it started to snow while I was there on top of the piles of mud, which, great weather here, muddy, snowy crud. Supposedly it's down to about 34 right now, though, so hopefully it's going to finally freeze, which would be really nice. So the guy had, I think, 200 bales, and they were at the same price that we just sold the other stuff at. And he was willing to hold it for us, which is even better. So we got 200 bales under the belt, which is great. I don't know if that's going to quite take us through till next year's cutting, but it'll at least get us hopefully through until mid-spring, at least. Ideally, I'd like to find at least another 150 bales someplace, so the hunt continues, but I feel a little bit better at least knowing that that stuff is there. So after that, we took Mothra to the vet. She's had a cold since Saturday. She started to get a weepy little eye, and she started sneezing like crazy, and then she hid under the bed most of yesterday, so we knew she definitely wasn't feeling good. So we took her in, and she ended up with a lovely shot, and she ended up with some antibiotics for later on. So did that, came home, and what did I do when I got home? Did a little bit of reading. I'm reading the Hillbilly Hollow series on Amazon right now for Kindle. It's a pretty entertaining little series. It's kind of goofy, but, it's all about a ghost in the Hillbilly Hollow, and this lady can see ghosts, and then she has to help solve their murders. So it's nice fluffy reading, which I kind of like every now and then. And then our cat fountain showed up. And we used to have a fountain for our cats, and we had the Dog-It water that held like 2 gallons. So it was huge, and it was great. And we burned out, I think, 3 motors in our use of it, and it finally started to break down in the plastic. So we ordered a new one. And we got the Drinkwell Platinum fountain off Amazon. And it arrived from Amazon in literally the box that it was sold in, and it wasn't even taped shut. So all you had to do is open up the flap and out pops your water. So great shipping there, Amazon. So I got it assembled, set it up, and I kind of wondered how this would go with the kitten, because we all know she fished out a fish out of our fish tank about 3 or 4 weeks ago and then wrapped him up in bamboo. So I know that she's not exactly scared of water. So we set it up, and I watched her. And she checked it out, and she's like, oh, what's this? Is this something new? And she spent at least 5 minutes just dabbing her paw in and watching it splash, and then sticking her head in and watching it splash. I'm hoping that the newness wears off in the next day or so, otherwise we're going to have a mess. So, the kitten's in love with the water, obviously. Besides that, I did a couple rows on my dust of snow wrap, but I didn't do a ton, mainly because I spent most of last night seaming up stuff. So I got all my cowls seamed, I got all my unicorn hoodies finished up for my vending event on Thursday, so kind of over that. I got onto a kick of wanting to make sweaters again still, so I have many, many ideas on what kind of sweaters it is that I want to do, and Amy from the Stranded Podcast saw somebody else knitting a sweater, and now she's knitting the same sweater, and it's a bulky weight sweater it's a cardigan, and the yarn is a coarse spun wool alpaca silk blend, and it's a Noro yarn. And I looked at the yardage, and the sweater for my size would be about a little over 2,000 yards, and the yarn I think comes in 200 yard put-ups, but each skein is $24. So that for me would be like a $240 sweater. And I guess I'm just a cheapskate, especially for Noro and for coarse spun bulky. And so now I have it in my head that I could totally coarse spin my own sweater and do it for cheaper. And I even kind of know what colors I'd pick to do it. But 2,000 yards of coarse spun, I don't know. in theory, I know I could do it. But I also want to do a colorwork sweater, you know, out of hand spun. And then I also, there's a sweater, what is it? The Marled Mania sweater by Stephen West. I kind of want to do that too. I'm just in a knit all the sweaters mood for some reason, except for finishing the one that I have on the needles. I've got the, oh, what's it called? I have a sweater by Joji Locatelli on the needles right now, and it's been on the needles for over 2 years, and I'm not real sure why it's still sitting there. It's very similar to the cardigan that I just made, except the backing's a little bit different and there's no pockets. And it is sport weight versus DK, so there's a few more stitches. And I think I'm almost done with the back, but for some reason, I just haven't come close to finishing it. But now, all of a sudden, I want to start all the things. So we'll see what I get around to doing. Otherwise, I'm starting to enjoy my cup of tea right now. I've got my color-changing fox mug here from David's Tea. And my tea advent for today, because I'm on day like 9 of my advent calendars, because, you know, you gotta open them early. I mean, what if there's a coupon that I could only use for a limited time? I need to be able to get to those. And this is Saigon chai, and I haven't tasted it yet because it's hot, but it feels nice. It's nice and warm. I don't have Christmas socks like Amy of the Stranded Podcast has, but I do have Halloween black cat pajama pants. And if you looked closely at yesterday's podcast, you'd notice that I had on T-Rex unicorn pajama pants that said, "I am a special unicorn" on them. So, awesome little pajama pants. So, I'll stick in a couple pictures here and there for you guys to just kind of look at. And then I'll put in a video of the little evil Mothra and her joy and glee of the water. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday, I've got a doctor's appointment to go to, and then I think I may record the podcast a day early because I have a couple coming to actually try and learn a little bit more about alpacas, and I've warned them it's a mud pit out there right now because it's a muddy mess. It's on a hill, so the mud is slippery, and it's a clay-based mud, so I've warned them that they need to wear boots, and it's going to be in the low 30s, so it's going to be cold too, so I don't know if it's going to be the best time in the world to try to sell somebody on alpacas, but we'll see. So that's it for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow.